Okay, hi friends. I have one more assignment for you, and this is actually a very interesting one. Yesterday we were talking about motion, and we talked about the different direction that things in motion can take. Up and down, back and forth, round and round, zigzag, and in a straight line. Today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about a scientist named Isaac Newton. Isaac Newton was a scientist who lived long ago, and he studied how and why things moved. What I'm going to have you do right now is I have a short little video on Isaac Newton that I want you to watch. And while you're watching it, I want you to see if you can figure out what Isaac Newton learned and why it's so important to us today. Okay, so I want you to see if you can figure out what happened in the beginning of the story, what did he learn in the middle, and at the end of the story, why is it so important? I'm going to have you watch it now, and I'm going to wait for you to watch it, and then you're going to unpause me, and then I'm going to go ahead and ask you some questions about Isaac Newton, and then we're going to do something in your science workbook. So the video is only about 4 minutes long, and it's a quick little story about Isaac Newton. And again, I want you to see, what did he discover in the beginning? What did he learn in the middle of the story? And at the end, why is that so important to us? Okay? All right, so go ahead and pause me, and then I want you to watch the video, and then you can come back to me. Okay? All right. Okay, so you should have finished the Isaac Newton video. What happened in the beginning of the story? Right, he was outside playing and he sat down, and what happened? Exactly, an apple fell on his tree. What was the big question that Isaac had? He wanted to know why the apple fell down and not up. Okay, so that bothered him, and he asked everybody he knew, right? And nobody could give him an answer to that. So this is a question that's in his mind, and he really wants to understand why this happened. So what he started to do is he started to do little experiments. Do you remember when he was throwing the leaves up and he threw a ball up? He observed that everything he threw up didn't fall down, or didn't stay up. Didn't stay up. Everything he threw up fell right down. It was like it was pulled right back to the earth, like something was pulling it back to earth. What did he discover in the middle? What did he learn about that? That's right. He learned that it's earth that is pulling everything back down, and it's called gravity. It's like things have an invisible string on them that pull it back to earth. So when the apple fell from the tree, it was as if it has an invisible string attached to it, and it was there, but then the earth pulls it back down, and that's called gravity, okay? So Sir Isaac Newton discovered gravity, and all in the way it was easily explained is it's as if everything has an invisible string on it that pulls it back to earth. Without gravity, what did they say would happen? They actually showed a pretty funny picture in the story too, of him in his bedroom. All the things were floating around, right? Your toys would be floating around, your clothes would be floating around, your bed would be floating around, your food would be floating around. All those things would be floating around if they didn't have that invisible string pulling them back to earth. Why would that be so hard, make it so hard for us to get ready for school and play with our toys? Right, we wouldn't be able to catch anything. We wouldn't be able to catch our clothes to get dressed in the morning. We'd have a very hard time playing with our toys because they'd keep floating away from us. Can you imagine trying to do work in our classroom? Our pencils would be floating away from us. Our crayons would be floating away from us. Mrs. Rooney's books would be floating away from her. So it's important that we have gravity because it makes our life a little bit easier because things stay put. But it's really important to understand that until Sir Isaac Newton was looking for that, people didn't really understand. So it took a question from him to discover something that's really important to us today. So we're thankful to him for being a scientist and for asking that kind of question. And it all happened because of what? Right, an apple fell and hit him on the head, and it made him wonder, why did that apple fall? So for you, as future maybe scientists, someday something might happen to you that makes you simply ask a question, and you might say, why did that happen? And then you could become like Isaac Newton and discover something really important, because it all starts with a question. Very good. All right. What I would like you to do right now is I would like you to open up your science workbooks for me, and I'd like you to open them up to page 49. 4949. Go ahead and pause if you need to. Okay. And there is a picture of Isaac Newton from a long time ago, and it says Isaac Newton was a scientist who lived long ago. He studied how and why things moved. Well, we learned in our video today that we know that why things fall when they go up into the air is because of that invisible string that's attached to them that's called gravity, and it pulls it back down to Earth. So what I'd like you to do right now, in this spot right here, is I'd like you to draw an apple. Okay? Where I'd like you to draw an apple is, I'm going to do it now real quick so that I can share mine with you. It's just a quick little, okay? I want you to draw an apple right there, okay? Then what I want you to do is I want you to take a darker crayon, and I want you to put a string on it, okay? Put a string on it. And that's going to help us remember that gravity, and then we're going to write gravity right here, G-R-A-V-I-T Y is that invisible string that Isaac Newton discovered is what keeps everything from floating out into space. Okay? All right. Great job on science today. We're going to do a science experiment tomorrow off of Sir Isaac Newton about how things move. And so tomorrow you're going to use a block and a crumpled up piece of paper and your straw, and we're going to do another experiment tomorrow, okay? All right, have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.